What's up everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about the All City 14 from Way of Weight. Yet again, the brand has managed to put out another top tier performer. So let's dive straight into it and start with the retail price. Around 140 euros or dollars depending on where you're located. In the future, you'll also be able to use my discount code LucasSimulator10. As of right now, it's not applicable yet, but you should be able to use it on this shoe in the future. Now for the more important things, how do they perform? Let's start with the traction performance. They changed up the traction pattern and also the technology they used in the outsole. Last year we had GCU, Way of Weight's ground control unit, what they call it, and Tough RB. This year we only have Tough RB, so these should also be durable enough for outdoors. I haven't tested them outdoors yet. For one, I've been recovering from my surgery, so I haven't played basketball that much lately, but I'm getting back into it. And the second thing is, it's really cold in Austria right now. Today, there's a massive snowstorm outside, so I just didn't have the chance to play with them outdoors. If you had the chance, make sure to let me and everybody else know down below in the comment section if they're durable enough. I think they'll 100% be durable enough. They also use different outsole types and different colorways. So here on this colorway, for example, we have a translucent outsole, and I've also tried colorways that have a full solid rubber outsole. I noticed minor differences in performance, but mostly in just sound and feel of those outsoles. The translucent outsoles, like this one right here, have a little bit of a sticky sound to them and just a stickier feel. The bite itself has been the same in my opinion, maybe slightly more aggressive on the translucent outsoles, and the solid rubber outsoles are a little bit more silent. The squeak is also approximately the same, but that doesn't have anything to do with performance anyways. Now, as I said, the bite on an indoor court is very, very good, and we have an upgraded traction pattern. If we compare it here real quick with the All City 13, you can see that this was very different. This was kind of a moon boot, and the imprinted leaves on the moon. That was kind of the whole theme, also with this heel area here on the All City 13. And now here on the 14, they still have some moon themed features on the shoe. I saw it on the official website, but they went away from it a little bit with the traction pattern. It works very, very well. It's a little weird because the grooves yet again are kind of shallow. That seems to be the direction basketball shoes are taking. In the past, we always thought if a traction pattern was so shallow and the grooves weren't as thick, it was going to wear down quickly, but these, as I said, should be durable enough. Another reason why these might be an absolute performance beast outdoors and are definitely on indoor courts is the cushioning setup. For the retail price you're getting every single cushioning setup that Way of Weight has available as of right now. You've got one layer of boom, then we have another layer of super boom, and then here in the heel, this area right here is light foam ultra, which they also used on the D-Low ones if you happen to hoop in that shoe. So everything they have from a cushioning standpoint they put into this shoe, which is very interesting because actually this is supposed to be the budget version of the main flagship model, currently the Way of Weight 12. I also have a review on those if you're interested. And it's kind of interesting that they actually have more cushion than the Way of Weight 12. Do these feel better cushioning wise than the Way of Weight 12s? No, I wouldn't say so. I absolutely love the performance of the Way of Weight 12, especially the cushioning. They have two layers of super boom if you're interested. Does this feel better or softer or more bouncy? Not really, but it's very close there, and as I said, a lot of impact protection, still relatively good court feel, decent bounce as well. For the retail price of 140 euros is absolutely amazing in my personal opinion, and a reason why these should also be good outdoors. You can see there's a big slab here of boom foam. It's relatively thick in the heel like they usually do it, and a little bit lower to the ground here in the forefoot of the shoe. On last year's shoe, we had the theme of a super critical insole here inside it. This year, they don't have it on there anymore, so it doesn't say super critical, but it does feel very similar. It's slightly better than your regular Orphalite insole, also adds a little bit more stepping comfort. But what's very interesting on this shoe is actually the inside life here, or what's underneath the insole. You could see it a little bit already. You can actually see like some stitching fades still going around and some stitches, and there is this little middle coin even, I don't even know how to call that. If I had to compare them to the All City 13 for a cushioning setup, it's very similar, slightly more impact protection on the All City 14, also a tiny little bit more comfort in my opinion. For the support features, you're also really good and set up. We have a Pro-Lock plate, that's also something they used on the D-Low line and also on the Weight Shadow series. And then we still have the Euro plate that they also introduced on the All City 13. You unfortunately can't see those features that well on this shoe. The Euro plate is this part here in the forefoot. It also goes back, and then the TPU plate is further back. And the thing is, you can see it a tiny little bit through this cutout here in the outsole. And if I try to flex them and bend them, you can see very hard to flex. They only flex in the forefoot, and the midfoot is perfectly stable, just how I like it and just how it's supposed to be. The lacing system also does a good job. At first, before they're broken in, it's a little bit weird because those two top eyelets here are kind of reinforced and have this extra plasticky overlay on the side. And it's a little weird because when I lace them, those things go away from the shoe, if that makes sense, or away from your ankle and your foot. So if you lace them tightly, it's kind of still a little bit open at the top, but just give them some time. Once the material is a little bit softer, you can lace them very nicely and keep them together. Just a little bit weird at first because those two things right here on the side move out a little bit. I hope you can see it through the second camera. So that's kind of a little bit weird at first, but I didn't have any lockdown issues. We also have a stiff and rigid heel counter. That's usually never a problem with Wave Weight. They always give us good supportive features on their basketball shoes. Now for the last performance category, I'm going to talk about the materials. I enjoyed them, all synthetic, kind of stiff at first, so they also take some time to break in. This pair is hardly worn, as you can see, still pretty new. So you can see it kind of flexes and moves around a little bit and looks a little bit bulky or stiff, but as I said, just give them some time to break them in. What I like a lot on all these colorways is the little heart they put here on the tongue. That's just a great touch in my opinion. It looks really, really cool. And they also have adequate padding. The laces are round and really soft, kind of elastic as well, like the laces we saw at first on the All-City 13. They changed it up a little bit towards the end of the line. Here, kind of elastic as well. I don't know if you can see it that well here, but if I pull them, as you can see, it just stretches out a little bit. There's also enough padding. The tongue could be a little bit thicker, but because the laces are so soft, they don't cut into your feet, which is always nice. And then we have like one big Achilles pillow here in the heel area. It also adds just enough comfort in my opinion. So it's not an uncomfortable wear, but it's also not like a maximum comfort shoe. And now the last two things we're going to talk about are the fit and the weight of the shoe. For the fit, very similar to the All-City 13, slightly more wide foot friendly in my opinion. My recommendation is go true to size. If you've never had a Wave Weight pair, go with the same size you would take, the same US size you would take with your Nike shoes. And now for the weight, surprisingly enough, these are slightly heavier than the All-City 13. It's only a minor difference, like 20 grams. And keep in mind, this is a size 14, so the weights you're going to see are going to be a little bit higher than in other review videos. I think the main reason why they're slightly heavier is because there's just more cushioning in there. On the All-City 13, we just had a regular Boom midsole. And now for the last part, where did I come in on my scale from 0 to Book 1, as the Book 1 is my favorite basketball shoe. If you're new here and didn't know that, I'd give them a very good 9 out of 10. They don't have a real weakness. They can be worn outdoors and they have a great retail price. So in my opinion, very close to the Book 1. The things that are holding them back for me, or holding them back from that top position, are the materials that are a little bit stiff and the slightly narrow fit. But apart from that, an amazing basketball shoe. And I might actually have to upgrade that scale, because for me right now the Wave Weight 12 and the Book 1 are head to head for that #1 spot. With all that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like on this video, comment your thoughts down below on the All-City 14. I almost said All-City 13. And if you did all that and still want to support me, the biggest thing you could do for me is a subscription to my channel. Have a good one and see you next time.